Hey everybody and welcome back to the Game Night Date Night, and we are on episode 19. Game Night Date Night is in collaboration with Games and Couples. Now they do amazing things. They concentrate on couple counseling, utilizing a lot of board games as a tool for couples to be able to use. One of the things that they've done is they've created a rating system to help uh, couples select which game would best suit their need depending on where they're at. Now keep in mind, one is not bad, five is not good. It just depends on what you're looking for. So their rating system is on three things. First one is conversation and connection potential. So this will rate on how much a game will allow time for connecting with your partner as you're playing it. Some games are very busy, there's a lot going on, there's really no time to connect and catch up with each other about the day. While other games are more relaxed, it's more low key and slow pace and would allow a lot more for that. The second thing they rate on is getting to know you. How much will the game reveal about your partner? Some games you will learn a lot about each other just because there's a lot of interaction that way and you're trying to figure out excuse me, how they're thinking. While other games there's a lot less interaction that way and you wouldn't actually kind of learn a whole lot during the gameplay about your partner. And the last thing is for potential for hurt feelings and conflict. Let's face it, board game, a lot of time you're competing to be the winner, so that means there's got to be a loser. And depending on how the game is created to come across that, it might be a little bit more take that. It might have, have a lot of conflict. And depending on how things are going in the relationship, maybe that's something that you're trying to avoid right now. Or maybe you're trying to work on conflict resolution and you're looking for something that's a little bit higher on the scale for this. So every week on Games and Couples, we talk about a game of the week and we select different games each week and we'll go through the rating system with it. Now, every month I also try to have a theme. This month I selected cat games. So games that have cat as a theme. The first one was Calico. Now, Calico is a really neat puzzly game where you're trying to piece together a quilt, trying to create patterns that will meet what the like the score, because different pattern, every game is going to have like a different pattern that's going to score differently. So you're trying to create this quilt, trying to score as high as possible. Now let's look at the rating system on this one. So conversation and connection potential, I've given this one a 3 out of 5. You are kind of busy looking at your quilt, trying to figure out which piece you want to fit in, which piece you're trying to collect. So it's kind of mid-range, like you might be distracted, but there is a lot of opportunity for holding a conversation while playing the game. Getting to know you, I'm giving this one a 1 out of 5. You're very much concentrated on your own board. Your partner is concentrating on their own board. The pieces, there's 3 pieces that's available for you to draw on your turn, so there's very little interaction with each other through the gameplay. So I'm giving this one a low score for this. Hurt feelings and conflict, I'm giving this one a 2 out of 5. There is time, if you look at the board too soon and say, okay, great, I really need a blue piece. Sounds good. On my turn, I'm going to take the blue piece. And then it comes to your turn, and they've taken the blue piece. It's gone. Now you're stuck with a green piece. So that can create a little bit of frustration. Mostly if you kind of get the feeling that they're peeking over at your board, trying to take what you think you need. I personally don't play that way, but it is possible. So just to keep in mind, it's very mild in the conflict side, but that could happen. This is what the Calico box looks like. It's just beautiful. And this is what the board looks like. So everybody gets a player board that is recessed, and then a bunch of, tile placement that you can put in there. 3 of them is going to be gold tiles that you're trying to create a pattern all around. And then you'll notice on the back there's 3 cat tiles that has patterns on it. The patterns are just black and white on here because the cats don't care about the color. They want to have a certain pattern. So each cat's going to show something different. Maybe they want a cluster of pattern that's the stripe pattern of 3 or more. And if you get that in your quilt, then a cat will come and lay on it, and then that will give you 3 points, for example. While another cat, they like the pattern with the fern leaf on it. So if you create a cluster of 7 of those, then they'll come and sit on it, but then they'll give you 11 points. So it's a little bit trickier to put together because you have to have all of those patterns touching so that you can add a cat token to your board. And then you have the color pattern. So if you get a cluster of 3 or more of the same color, then you get to put a button on your quilt, and that's going to give you extra point. If you ever get all the buttons, all the different buttons on your quilt, then you get the bonus rainbow button as well. And then at the end of the game, you'll be scoring all your cats and all your buttons and gold tiles that you had. Whoever has the most points, the winner. This is a closer look at these gold tiles here. So you'll notice each one are different, and every time you play, you kind of select a different one, so the games will be slightly different every time. But just an example of how this works, if you look at the one here that has the AAA and then BBB, that means you're trying to get 3 tiles out of the 6 to be one pattern or one color, and then the other 3 tiles to be like a second pattern or a second color. Now, if you manage to do one or the other, you will get 7 points. If you manage to do both, where you get one pattern or 2 pattern, 3 and 3, as well as 2 colors, 3 and 3, and you kind of meet both requirements for pattern and color, then you would score the 13 points, the one in the yellow. As the game gets closer to the end and your quilt gets fuller, it is really hard to be able to stick to these, so you probably won't be able to complete all 3 goals, but it's a very interesting challenge trying to get that done. The next game that we talked about this month was Cat Lady. So Cat Lady is a set collection card game that is quite interesting because you're collecting these cats. You're trying to get them toys and costumes, but you also need to make sure you have food for them. And each cat has a separate preference for food. And at the end of the game, you score the value of the cats that you've collected, but only if you've been able to feed them. If you haven't been able to feed them, they'll run away. It's another really adorable cover for the game. Oh, and I forgot to discuss the rating system on this one. So conversation, connection, potential, I'm giving this one a 4 out of 5. You're looking at the board, selecting the 3 cards, adding them. There's a lot of opportunity to be able to hold a conversation while playing this game. Getting to know you, I'm giving this one a 3 out of 5. You're a lot more aware of the choices of your partner because you're both staring at the same 3x3 grids of the cards that's available, and you can kind of see what they're concentrating on. Are they going for costume? Are they trying to get just as many cat as possible? Are they like just creating different random reasons for them? It's like, well, I want that cat because of its name, because that's a cute name, and then like creating different rules for themselves. So I'm giving a 3 out of 5 for that. Hurt feelings and conflict, I'm giving this one a 2 out of 5. You might have a food, you're waiting for milk because you have a cat that needs milk, you haven't been able to collect milk, it's finally available, but before your turn comes along, they take it. That can create a little bit of conflict there, but otherwise, this is a very low conflict game. It's not one that creates a lot of uncomfortable feelings. So as I showed, this is a cover of the box for Cat Lady, created by Josh Wood. This is what the board looks like. So this is where all the cats had been collected there. The cubes, you'll see like the white, blue, red, and purple cube. That's the food that you can feed all the different cats. You have the toys that are kind of stacked on top of each other there, because the toys will score as the most variety of toys that you have. So as long as you have different variety of toys, it'll get score for that. You can set different, like you can score different set, but only if they're different from each other. Each cat you'll see has a value on the side. We got a 6, a 1, a 3, and then on the bottom you'll notice that they have what they want for food. So the first cat there needs 3 chicken, and that's what he wants to eat, while the second one there needs 2 chicken and a milk. And it just kind of shows the kind of food you need to select. Now in the middle of the board, you'll notice we have the 3x3 there in the middle, and you need to go around collecting those tiles, and you have that little cat symbol, so you can collect rows all three cards in one row or all three cards in one column. And let's say I take the three cards in the column, I would take all of that, I would put the cat at the top of that to show that that's the one I just took, and then you refill the board. So now next person to come can draw three cards as well, but they cannot go in the column that I just took from because that's locked up. So they'll have to select either the rows or the other two columns. So it kind of limits a little bit the action that you can do. And of course, you'll reveal new cards like, oh, great, the three perfect cards that I need, and I can't go there unless you have collected a token that you can spend to move the cat, so that does make this available. It is really neat. It's a fun, quick game. And it's just a simple, cutesy artwork as well. And it's just a simple game that you collect all these cats and score them at the end. The next one that we talked about, and this is probably the heaviest heaviest game this month, and this is the Isle of Cats. So conversation, connection, potential, I'm giving this one a 2 out of 5. There's a lot going on in this game. So you get the card drafting at the beginning where you're looking at cards, you select which one and you pass along, and then you look at and you select more that you want to come. Once the drafting is done, you look at all the cards you've selected and you need to decide which one you want to keep and pay the price in fish for that. So you'll do that, but you don't want to spend all of your fish, because that's also how you're going to lure the cats into the basket so that you can have them escape the island and put them onto your boat, because the island's going to get destroyed, so you're trying to save the cats that lives on it. But these cats aren't just going to be saved willingly. You need to lure them into your basket first. So it's just so much going on, and then you'll be drawing these tiles of the cats that you've selected, and you got to put them on the boat and where they're going to fit in, and you're trying to create family clusters on the boat, and you're trying to cover the rats, and you kind of fill rooms so you get bonus points as well. So there's just so much going on. You'll be just so busy concentrating on that conversation probably would be a little bit lower, but you know, in between everything you can have conversation. Getting to know you, a lot more decisions here. You can see how how your partner is going to be thinking, what they're going to be considering. Are they concentrating on trying to get the most treasures? Are they really concentrating on cover the most rats? Are they trying to get for like the filled room bonus, or you know, are they, it's just a lot to consider. So it's neat to see what they're going to be thinking. Hurt feelings and conflict, 2 out of 5. You're building your own boat, they're building their own boat. The only time there is some conflict is if you are hoping to have a cat to kind of add to your family and somebody takes it first. So there's no interact, they can't come onto your boat and kind of mess up what you've done. So the conflict is lower on here. This is what the box looks like, the Isle of Cats. And it's neat. The inside of the lid has a kind of a target with the middle is like cat sits here, so as like this is a box for your cat to sit in as you play. This is the main board that's on the table, so it's the keeps track of the order play and then the turns, so you'll be playing 5 rounds and then doing the final scoring. And then it also has all around the different cat tiles that are available to you that round, and then afterwards they get put away and new ones come out, and then you have all these, and you kind of notice it's really cool because the shape of the tiles are all over the place, and you have like a cat with a weird position that they're in, and you'll see that with cat, they just sleep in the weirdest position. So that's kind of took that in consideration and kind of went with it. And this is your tableau, so your own player board of the boat that you're trying to fill in with all the cats. And you're trying to create clusters of similar families. And if you look at this one here, they're doing a terrible job because you got the green cats all spread all over the place. They really should have tried to put that all together. And sometimes that is easier said than done. And you would have want to put all the blue family together, because the larger the family cluster, the cat of same colors, the more points that's going to give you. So having them all spread out is not going to score you a lot of points, while if you can cluster them together, that will give you a lot of points. But it is a very satisfying game to play. It's beautiful to look at, and that's Isle of Cat. And the last one that I talked about is the silliest theme as far as the cat games, and that's Too Many Poops. And the best thing about this is it comes with the pooples, which is the little poop meeples they call it, and it's hilarious. So in this game, you're trying to collect cats, but you got to make sure that the cats get along because some of them do not get along with other cats. So if they ever get into the same hand, they won't score you anything. But every cat you have in your hand is also going to poop in the litter box every round, and you need to stay on top of managing the poop in the litter box because if you ever reach too much poop in there, you automatically lose the game. So conversation, connection, potential. I'm giving this one a 4 out of 5. It's a simple draw a card, add it to your pile, and then kind of play a card. Like there's different action cards you can play, but it's fairly quick, easy action, so it does have a lot of opportunity for holding a conversation. And then getting to know you, I'm gonna give this one a 2 out of 5. You're not gonna be very revealing in what you have per se. You can kind of see like, will they be playing where they're concentrating on getting their cat? Are they playing a bit more into kind of managing, like trying to mess with your hand as well? But otherwise, you it's not one that has a lot of intricate, deep decisions, so you're not going to discover a whole lot about your partner in this game. Hurt feelings and conflict, I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5. Reason for it, there's a lot of take that element to this. Maybe you have a cat that doesn't like well, in this case, we have Penny, and Penny doesn't like monkers. So if somebody has monkers and they purposely place it, because when you place a cat, you can add it to your cats, or you can add it to the other players. And if they send you monkers, so now all of those ones get flipped over, none of them are scoring, yet they're still pooping every round. And it can be so frustrating. And then there's also a card that you can play that creates a mystery poop. And then all of a sudden that means each round there's an extra poop that shows up in your litter box. And it just makes the managing of all that a little bit more difficult. So it's a bit more take that to it than the other games. So this is the box for Too Many Poops. The artwork is cute. The pooples are adorable and just ridiculous. So you have in there different action cards, and then you have your cat cards. You'll notice that black one, that's a cancel. So if somebody tries to do something to me and I don't want, I can put that on there and it stops them. So you get that ability to stop them as well. Then you have your litter box, which is a reset cardboard box that will hold all of your little poop meeples in there. If you ever draw, I think is if you ever get more than 10 or 11 poops in there, then you lose the game. So you're trying to keep that in under control. Adorable, cutesy theme. I really recommend it. So be sure to follow us on Instagram. My Instagram is Mal's_boardgame_room, and we also have Games and Couples. And then on Facebook, my Facebook page is Mal's Board Game Room, and we have Games and Couples Love in the Age of Board Game. And we have the YouTube channel, Mal's Board Game Room, and also Games and Couples Love in the Age of Board Game. Bye, everybody.